Sinister is one of the better big-budget horror movies in recent memory, and nobody was surprised when this Blumhouse film got the sequel treatment in 2015. But since then, there hasn't been so much as a whisper about a third chapter. Instead, it looks like the whole Sinister series has been abandoned in favor of other franchises. Why does sequel-happy Hollywood want nothing more to do with Bagul and his box of haunted videos? Let's roll the tape. Sinister 2 didn't make enough cash. Producer Jason Blum knows a thing or two about getting a series off the ground. He's the man who made one-off movies like Paranormal Activity, Insidious, and The Purge into successful multi-film franchises. But when asked about the prospect of a third Sinister movie during a Facebook live chat in 2016, Blum was brutally honest, saying, "We didn't do well enough with Sinister 2. Not enough people went to see Sinister 2 to make Sinister 3, which is really sad." If you're wondering what sad looks like in terms of cold hard numbers, the original Sinister made $77 million on a $3 million budget. The sequel, which cost more than 3 times as much to make, brought in only $52 million. Critics tore the second film apart. So why did audiences not latch on to Sinister 2 the way they did for the original? Not to be blunt, but probably because it was a bad movie, at least according to critics. Wesley Morris of Grantland summed it up best, writing, "There comes a point when you have to say no to these horror sequels. There's no skill or idea visible anywhere, just the sound of money being sucked from your pockets." And he wasn't alone. Even critics who liked the first Sinister movie thought this one was cheap, unbelievable, and most of all, unnecessary. The sequel botched the best part. Like the first movie, Sinister 2 centers around a series of snuff films, each involving the grisly murder of what appears to be an entire family. And in the first film, these sequences were so disturbing that it kind of felt like we shouldn't even be seeing them, which made it a highly effective horror movie, if not the source of a few recurring nightmares. But in Sinister 2, the murder films looked more like crudely shot B-movies, screened with a bargain bin horror soundtrack that took them over the line from creepy to cheesy. With the scariest part of Sinister effectively ruined by the sequel, it's no surprise that Hollywood preferred not to unbox any future home videos from Bagul. They killed the premise and the whole cast. After the original Sinister ended with a huge reveal that the movie's snuff films were made by kids who killed their own families while under the influence of an ancient boogeyman, Sinister 2 tried to do something different. With the source of the movies no longer a mystery, the sequel took a new angle, focusing on one kid as he's courted by the ghostly squad of child murderers who want him to join their ranks, and taking all the mystery out of the premise that made Sinister scary in the first place. Oops. On top of that, both of these movies end with the deaths of virtually every major character, which is appropriately dark for a horror film, but not so good for a horror franchise. With nobody left alive to star in a new installment, Sinister 3 would have to start from scratch, creating a whole new set of characters to breathe life into a tired storyline. The monster is a bore. This is a problem that started with Sinister and never got fixed. Bagul is more than just an unpronounceable name, he's a lousy character, too.
Some cultures believed that it lived in another realm, reachable only by ritual or sacrifice.
Whatever that means. Both movies identify Bagul, also known as the Boogeyman, as an otherworldly being who exists to corrupt innocent children. But as the antagonist of a major horror franchise, we never really get to know Bagul, his hopes, his dreams, his reasons for dressing up like a low-rent Michael Jackson impersonator. Sure, he makes for a good jump scare, but without a compelling villain to shape the franchise around, making more Sinister movies would be a chore, especially when competing series like The Conjuring are trotting out fresh, interesting monsters with legitimate backstories on the regular. The original director has moved on. Sinister director Scott Derrickson doesn't do generic horror, and he's especially good at translating classic subject matter into something freshly terrifying.
Speak Latin, huh?
That would make him the perfect person to get this spooky series back on track, if only he had the time for it. But Derrickson let someone else take the reins when it came to directing Sinister 2, and by the time the sequel hit theaters, he was already on to bigger things, specifically the Marvel movie Doctor Strange, which catapulted him into a whole new world of big-budget, high-profile projects. Between adapting Bong Joon-ho's Snowpiercer into a TV series, and probably helming the inevitable Doctor Strange sequel, Derrickson has plenty on his plate, and he isn't likely to waste his energy trying to bring small-budget Bagul and his squad of killer kiddos back from the dead, or wherever they are. So when it comes to more Sinister sequels, it looks like the hero from Sinister 2 gets the last word.
It's over, Zach. You're not making him a film.
Thanks for watching. Click the looper icon to subscribe to our YouTube channel, plus check out all this cool stuff we know you'll love too.